told you I'm a public servant. Look, some people are firefighters, some people are police officers, some people are EMTs, paramedics. They fight in our nation's army. They literally like risk their lives every day. I mean, and what I'm doing is kind of like that. It's a little bit like that. What if I told you I'm gonna be doing something, I'm gonna be sacrificing my mental health space and time for the benefit of you, dear viewer? What would you think I would be doing? Surely not reading Harry Potter fanfic for the better of the community and the world. Everyone has their own sacrifice. And for me, that sacrifice is this video. I'm going to be reading another Harry Potter fanfiction so that you don't have to, or maybe you want to. It's up to you. I'm gonna be reading Manacled. For the benefit of the public, of course. Manacled is a really scary fanfic for me. It sounds, when I read it, scary. I'm afraid of it. I'm very nervy to read it. I feel like there's a fine line for me between like smut and cringe and like fun kicking my feet romance, and I'm really afraid it's gonna go into that earlier category. I have to do this for you and for, you know, the public. I'm here to serve this. I'm here to serve this country and the world, okay? What can I say? I have been putting this off for a long time. Like I said, it's a fanfic that scares me, but I recently read a different fanfic, Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal. Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying It's got a really complicated title. Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Falling in Love. That's what I read, and I really loved it, and I thought I didn't like fanfic. Well, it turns out I do. Then I read Bride by Allie Hazelwood, and if you've read Bride by Allie Hazelwood, it's made you rethink some things recently. You're reading and you're like, wait, why am I enjoying this? So I said, you know what? Fuck it, we read Manacled, and we share our experience with the world. Even though we think we're gonna hate this, even though it sounds a little too weird, a little too crazy, we can't keep saying things are weird and crazy, because when we read the weird and crazy things, we're having fun. So there we go. This is going to have spoilers. I'm not gonna just spoil everything, and maybe I'll put up something on the screen, like maybe I'll make it go red, and then I'll talk about spoilers, then it'll go red again, so you don't know. You'll know when I'm talking about spoilers, so if you do actually want to read this book, this fanfic, you can read it. I think it's coming off of AO3 soon, because I heard that it's getting like reskinned basically into a regular book. So I don't know how much longer you're gonna be able to access it, but I will put the link in the description if you want to read it. This is gonna be a long one. I've heard that this book is insanely long, but you're gonna be here with me over the course of however many days it takes me to read this. And you know, we're gonna get through this together, you and I. Katie from the past was extremely optimistic with how this was gonna go. I'm just gonna let you guys know that although I originally assumed this was going to be just a Manacled reading vlog, that doesn't happen, and you'll see why as we go. But just know that there's other books. This is more of a general reading vlog, and seeing my sweet little innocent face before what was about to happen to me, you know, she's so naive. She's so ignorant. Ignorance really is bliss. It is. One of my favorite things about AO3 and the way that it works is you can download EPUBs so that you can read the books on your Kindle, which is what I just did right now. And then you just email the EPUB to your Kindle and it'll automatically be there. If you don't know about this, in your Amazon account, you can go and find your Kindle's email, and then you just email files to that and it'll go right to your Kindle, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna read the descriptions for you guys. This is, honestly, Katie, we're gonna need some music to set to this. So rating explicit. Active archive warnings, rape/non-con, and graphic depictions of violence. I can do the graphic depictions of violence. I don't know. Additional tags, post-war, Harry Potter dies, alternate universe, Voldemort wins, forced pregnancy, imprisonment, minor character death, memory loss, eventual romance battle, mystery, healer Hermione Granger, self-harm flashbacks, slow build, angst with a happy ending. Hermione Granger wins again. My heart adores, fucking masterpiece, Dramione fics I've read and loved, my all-time best favorites. Got me in my feelings, literally god tier fanfics I cannot live without. Dramione because I'm mentally unstable. Checks out. What is even canon? Oh, you thought I wasn't gonna read them all. No, I am. I'm gonna read them all.
This keeps me up till 6 a.m. All my tortured Dramione feels, Dramione fanfics I love, Ultimate Dramione, wanted my heart to be pulverized, Dramione masterpieces. No, it's fine, I wanted my heart to be pulverized. Just Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, whole ass novel. Dramione fix that Avada my Kedavra. What am I reading? America runs on Dramione. HP fix the deserved film adaptations. Dre X Herm. Dre X Herm. Yeah, there's a lot of tags here. It has 84,000 kudos. I'm new to AO3. I don't understand how AO3 works out all. This is only the second time I've ever been on the website, and I can't explore it to save my life. I have no idea how to navigate this or how it works. I literally am only even know about this because I've heard about it on TikTok, and people literally have it like bound and on their shelves. And that's why I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. Let's read the description together. Summary. Harry Potter is dead. In the aftermath of the war, in order to strengthen the might of the magical world, Voldemort enacts a repopulation effort. Hermione Granger has an order secret lost but hidden to her mind, so she is sent as an enslaved surrogate to the High Reeve until her mind can be cracked. The High Reeve is Draco. See why I'm thinking that this is gonna be psychotic to read? Like, I feel like I might end up DNFing this because it's just gonna be... But here we are. I've heard only good things about it. I'm scared, but you know, what can you do? Especially when it's tagged Goated Dramione. I'm realizing that I'm more active, that I want to be more active on the book community on YouTube. And if this is my way in, guys, get me there, okay? I am only like literally 1% into this. Like, what page am I on? I don't know. It says location 254 of 19,350, whatever that means. Not sure, because this is like a random EPUB from AO3, but I've like barely read any of this. It says 1% at the bottom, and I just can't believe how terrifying this is. Like, it's like low-key very gruesome. This is like a blend of The Handmaid's Tale and Harry Potter, which I've never read Handmaid's Tale, so I can't tell you if this is similar to Handmaid's Tale. I haven't even seen the show. Like, I know nothing about it, but this is like torture. Like, they're torturing her. And that's hard too. Wow, look at Cosmo and Wanda. Isn't that funny? Anyway, it's just, it is hard to read. There's a lot in here that I'm like, okay, wow. And also, I didn't, as a Harry Potter stan, someone who loves Harry Potter, I don't want Voldemort to win. And in this book, like, that's what happened. Harry's dead, Voldemort won. And now Hermione's like being tortured basically for God knows how long in a cell. And now they're gonna give her to Draco Malfoy as like his surrogate. Girl didn't impregnate. I don't know. I have no idea. But so far, this is like depressing to read as a Harry Potter stan that like really doesn't want that to be the case. Doesn't want that to be the outcome of the books. So that's all I have so far. Hermione stared at her, feeling faint with shock. It couldn't be true. It was all too horribly dystopian. Girl, I'm right there with you. I'm feeling the exact same way. I can't believe this is the setup for this. I just... Voldemort is gonna create a wizard breeding program. It feels, I don't know how. My worry with this is like that it's gonna be too psycho crazy for me to even get into this. Like this, that's my biggest worry. That's why I didn't want to pick this up to begin with, is like it feels just too psycho crazy dystopian disgusting for me to even get emotionally involved or like root for these two to be together. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong because I haven't met Draco yet and I haven't even like really gotten into it. We're 2% in, but it feels too psycho crazy. But we're here. I'm doing this for you. I just updated you, but I'm sorry. Another quote. I've seen the bodies. He catches the runners. He always catches them. McGonagall, Moody, Neville, Dean, Seamus, Professor Sprout, Madame Pomfrey, Flitwick, Oliver Wood. Those are only the ones I know. There have been more. Loads more. The Order members were the ones who tried hardest to get away. They all came back corpses. It's always the killing curse. Like, everyone you love is dead. Just in case you're wondering, if you like the Harry Potter books, everyone you love except for Hermione, dead. Dead. The High Reeve killed them. Who's the High Reeve? Draco. Okay, it hasn't been that long since I talked to you last, it's just been a little bit. This book is just so dark, and I'm not afraid of dark books, but I mean, when I think fan fiction, I think light, fun, fluffy, cute. And this is not really giving any of that because it is so dark. So I want to read something to you again, just another excerpt, explain how dark. We're only 3% in. Escaping, she realized, was likely a luxury she couldn't afford to pursue. The important thing would be to die quickly before she could be stopped and kept from further attempts. I gotta say, it kind of gives a little bit of Kylo, like Reylo fanfic, because Kylo Ren is like the prodigy of the bad guy. He is like the mentoree of the bad guy. And in this, the High Reeve, aka Draco, is like the prodigy, the runner-up, the in training of the baddest baddie, which is Voldemort, obviously. And it's really interesting. Also, like, the more I read Draco Hermione, I've only read one other one, but it's such a smart person to do fanfic with, or just to have in a book, because she is a mudblood, so she's a person, like, so she uses human terms, and your, like, way of explaining that away is, like, she is human. Like, she was raised by two regular human parents that don't have anything to do with magic, so her perspective is really interesting, and it makes you really connect with her, I guess, as a character, because you're also a human trying to understand this world. I don't know, so interesting. We haven't gotten into anything. We haven't even met Draco yet. They haven't even admitted he's the High Reeve, which we already know, because it's a Draco Hermione fanfic, and that's who she's going to live with, but that's where we're at. I am unwell. What is this? This is it's rather fucked. It's a bit fucked, isn't it? A bit fucked. We have made it to the first, what do I even call this? Like, the first ability for there to be a non-consensual scene in this book. And if I have to read RAPE in this book, I do not know if I will be able to continue this reading vlog. Like, I can't do that. And also, I don't know how you could make a male character come back from that. Like, this is supposed to be Draco Hermione, like, falling in love.
I'm gonna be defending myself here for a second, because I say, oh, I can't read this scene when it was clearly in the trigger warnings. I was assuming that we would not get a description of this happening, or that it would be like there would be themes of that, but it wouldn't actually be on the page, or it would be closed door, or they would find a way to subvert this somehow. I was starting to realize in this clip that was not going to be the case, that I was afraid she was going to actually put this into the book, to be clear. And also, I have read books where there have been kind of depictions of non-con, but they have been from a bad guy, like someone who you aren't going to root for, not from the main hero of the story. You know what I'm saying? So just to clarify, I know some of you might be like, girl, you read the trigger warnings, you read them in the... Yeah, I did, but like, I couldn't imagine... I didn't think that if so many people were reading this, that's what was actually happening. I assumed it would be... I think you understand what I'm saying.
In the most fucked up setting on earth, but I don't know. It's also weird because he has a wife who he clearly doesn't like, and it was like an arranged marriage, but like the wife is like leading Hermione around the house. Very, very weird. It's giving... If you've read Handmaid's Tale, I'm sure it's giving very Handmaid's Tale, but I haven't, or even seen the show, so I really don't know. But I'm assuming, my guess, the only way this could work and like have this many people like this book is if Draco's actually not a terrible person and he doesn't make her do anything that she doesn't want to do, and he actually is maybe a little bit of a good guy, or someone that could easily be swayed to being a good guy, or that the secrets that Hermione has in her head would reveal that Draco is good. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping Draco and Snape are actually good guys, and I don't know. This reading mug might be over way faster than we thought, because I cannot read non-con. That is where I draw the line. Actually, draw the line way before that. This is the darkest, craziest thing I've ever read, I feel like. Maybe not. Like Ninth House is not... I don't know. This is like actively dark. Ninth House has dark elements, and like flashbacks that are dark, but it's not like this. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. I just got to the chapter 6 warning. What did I sign myself up for? Why did I assume this just wouldn't be in here? Like, how bravely did I just tell you guys, like, yeah, I hope it's not. Here we go. Here we go. I'm losing years of my life out here, guys. At this moment, there is absolutely no way I would ever recommend this to any person I've ever met in my life. It's like, how do we rationalize this? They're making him. He didn't like it. What? I don't know how I could make it back from this. This is exactly what I feared when I picked this up. Okay, I need to recollect. I went to GOODREADS to try and decide whether I need to keep going or not, because the beginning of this book it's torture. I'm being tortured for you guys right now. I don't understand how we're gonna redeem anyone. I don't understand it, but I just read someone's review that says, this is heartbreaking, disturbing, dark, beautiful, a little unhinged, loved it. Which that doesn't make me feel any better. But then it says, I didn't know if I could get behind this, especially at the beginning, but I'm glad I pushed through. We're going to try to get through this as best we can. I can't believe, this is so not my cup of tea. So not my thing. And this is terrifying to read. This is so hard to read. And it seems like there's no happy ending in sight. Like nothing could possibly make this end well. But this is what we're doing. Good morning, friends. It is the next day. So I think the last time I checked in with you, I told you that I had read a review that somebody was like, I had a hard time with this in the beginning. It was really a struggle to get through, but I'm glad I stuck it out. And so I decided to stick it out. I didn't get that much further in. And honestly, the beginning of this is really hard to read and it's making me want to put it down. But I feel like this video, the whole point of this video, because I was scared to read this book for these exact reasons, before I picked it up, and I couldn't find anyone talking about in depth if this book is hard to read, etc., or any of these elements that I was worried about reading. And so I feel like me reading this, the whole point of this video is for me to read it and tell you whether it truly is worth it or not to get through it. So I'm gonna try to keep pushing, but if it gets to a point where I'm like, absolutely not, I cannot keep reading this, then obviously we're gonna stop. But for now, it's fine. I'm only 10% of the way through. I guess he's being kind of nicer to her, but also I don't know. We just found out they're using her as a pawn in the paper to try to get other loyalists to Harry to come out of the woodworks and try to save her, because they shared to everyone where she is. Again, I don't really know about any of this. I don't really know how I feel about it, and if I had to rate it right now, I would tell you 0 stars and that I want to DNF it. But like I said, people are saying that it gets better and to push through, so I'm gonna keep reading and see if my opinion changes at all. But that's your update. I've got my coffee, I've got my Kindle, and we're gonna dive back in and see if I don't know how this can be redeemed. The only thing that I can think make the male love interest, aka Draco, be redeemed in my eyes is if he was under threat of death or something. I don't really know, so it's gonna be a hard one for me. Here's my update on the book. So it is not as horrifying to read now. I'm less horrified. Basically, you don't get any more non-con scenes. They just in shorthand be like, yeah, so the same thing happened again this month. And you're like, okay, well, that's terrifying and I hate it, but what are you gonna... I don't have to read it, which I'm happy about. Other thing, the actual story of this book is more interesting to me than the character relationships. Like, I don't care about Malfoy and Hermione, which is I guess kind of weird because I feel like that's why people pick this up, but I don't care about them. I'm more interested in Hermione's locked memories and what she's hiding from everybody and what it could mean. The more you learn about this situation, I guess, that Draco is in, the more you realize that he really doesn't have a choice in what he does, because basically the powers that be can read their minds, like both of them, specifically Hermione's. They like dive into Hermione's mind constantly and literally go through every single memory she has from the last... She calls it like mind RAPE, basically. Like, she feels terrible afterwards, and they like go through and read every single memory and know every single thing she's been thinking or been through. And so he literally, like, the Dark Lord is checking to see that Malfoy is making an honest effort at impregnating Hermione, which is disgusting, but I understand now, like, I feel like he couldn't not participate in this or he will be in trouble. Like, they'll both die, basically. And so if he does... me telling you that he is actually being merciful by doing this. That's basically the gist that you're getting. Which, this book is dark. It's really fucking dark. It's horrifying. But, I mean, that's what books are, right? Ninth House, there's dark parts in Ninth House, but it feels like it means something. And this, like, when I picked it up, I was thinking it was just going to be, like, a romance. And so I wasn't thinking, like, there would be dark themes that would be justified because of the situation in the book. Like, I don't know, it's like in war times, there's like a super bigoted, racist wizard running the world. I don't really know. This is like not at all what it is what I thought it was going to be, what I was afraid it was going to be, but I was hoping it was going to be less intense. It is not less intense. It is more intense. It is more crazy. I'm reading like pages on pages of Hermione just like, she is in shambles, which is like really terrifying because like in the books, Hermione's like mind is like her strength and it's the thing she can always trust. And in this book, it talks a lot about how because Hermione is so damaged from all these things going on, like the one thing she thought she could trust, her mind, she can no longer trust. And so like she is a broken person. Like, it is really hard to read the scenes of her just like absolutely devastatingly just demolished. Her brain is in shambles. She's physically, mentally, emotionally, she's fucked, for lack of a better term. It is hard to read, so just letting you all know that this is not my normal, what I would pick up, and I'm trying to, like, in my head, when I'm reading this, I'm like, I fucking hate Draco Malfoy, I fucking hate him, I fucking hate Voldemort, I fucking hate everybody, I don't like anyone, and I'm just rooting for Hermione, and it, like, really is, like, there's no way she's gonna escape. Like, that's what it's giving when you're reading it, like, there's no way she's getting out of here. There's no way she's getting out of here. There's compulsions on her. She can't speak unless spoken to. She can't do anything but obey. Anytime she tries to think about even committing suicide, the person she's manacled to, Draco, like, knows that she's thinking about it. So, like, there's, like, it feels very, like, depressing, dark, sad. Like, there's no way she's getting out of here. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Very depressing, very dark. Sad shit. We have to go to the driving range, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. Surprisingly, this book is pretty political, I feel like. Like, I just read through so much magical politic jargon about the war. Like, pages on pages on pages of it. I feel like there is a lot of explaining and, like, exposition where we're just getting info dumps. Because as Hermione's memories come back, we're just like piecing things together and we don't really know what was going on. So we have to just get a full like play-by-play of the end of the war. And like I'm reading through one of those right now and they can go on for pages and it can sometimes feel a little bit tedious. And you're like, okay, but what's the point? Okay, but what's the point? Okay, I know what you're saying, but like get on with it. But it is a lot more political than I thought it would be.
Watching this back now, I think this is where the book really started to just tear down my mental health and well-being. this is where I started to wonder, like, is it worth it? Do we need to keep doing this?
Don't worry, guys. We're now at the point in the book where we're wondering if the man who is our captor and rapist is receiving therapy for the torture that he's been doled out by the Snake Lord. So, 18% of the way in. I just feel like we can't redeem this guy. I'm gonna need a lot of explanation. Like pages on pages on pages. As much explanation as the war is taking, I'm gonna need that for why Draco is apparently deserving of empathy. I need you to listen closely as I read these words. If you don't want to be spoiled, here's the spoiler warning, okay? He deserves to die, she thought to herself. He deserved to be crucioed. The world would be a better place if Draco Malfoy were killed or driven insane. But the thought of him blank-eyed in Janus Thicky bothered her somehow. Passively watching the toll that regular torture was taking on him made her feel oddly guilty. What's that one disease where you fall in love with your captor? That's what this is giving. That's what this is giving. Prediction time.
Pretty much the entirety of the rest of this video is very spoilery, so if you are someone who is still interested in reading this book after everything that you've seen here and you don't want to be spoiled, I'm one heck of a predictor and I knew exactly what was going to happen. Not that I'm not giving myself much credit. It's pretty obvious there's only one way to redeem this man, and my prediction is the only way, and I have verified that this is how the book ends. Fair warning, I do end up DNFing this book, so I'm going to talk at length about why I choose to do that. So if you do not want to be spoiled, go ahead and click off. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're somebody who loves this book or really sees something in it that I don't, I'm sorry I'm harping on it kind of hard, but it's not for me, and I don't understand some of the things that were chosen to be written in this book. And I feel like you could have portrayed the themes that this fanfic author was trying to portray without some of the scenes that are in this book, and especially without the scene that eventually drives me to put the book down. So if you want to come in for the ride with me for the rest of this, please do. I love you to be here. Again, misery loves company. So love to have you here, but otherwise I'll see you guys somewhere else.
The memories that Hermione is blocking are of her and Draco being in love before they lose the war. And he doesn't want anyone to get these memories because then they'll know that Draco is actually a good guy. And if that's not what happened, I think that is the only conceivable way where we can redeem this man. We're now to the point where she's getting hurt, or I kid you not, R.I.P. deed, by another man, and he comes to the rescue. And because it's another man who's like doing this in not such a clinical way, we're supposed to be mad at the guy and like cheer for Draco for saving her. I don't really, honestly guys, I don't know how people read this book. Like, if this turns around somehow, it will blow my mind. It will genuinely blow my mind. And it makes me sad because I like Draco, like, as a character. Like, when he makes his little jokes, I'm like, he's so, But in this, I don't know how you come back from this. I don't. We need to talk. This video is taking a turn we didn't expect. I'm sure you're confused why I'm holding a Barnes & Noble bag. Originally, this was going to be a reading this so you don't have to book video of the manacled fanfiction. Well, I have terrible news for you. I have my first DNF of the year. There is absolutely no way I'm going to be able to sit through any more of the manacled fanfiction. I got to another non-con scene and I was like, this is not for me. Maybe there's someone stronger out there that can do this, but for me, it ain't happening. And originally I was like, well, actually, I got to one of the non-con scenes in this book, and yeah, there was more. I thought maybe we were just gonna get the clinical rundown of what was going on, and then we were not gonna have to sit through another one. And then we did have to sit through another one, and then I was like, well, maybe it's not that terrible. And then it got worse and worse as it went on, and it was just giving, like, there was too many scenes in this where, like, I know how the book ends. I guessed properly, like, what happened. I'm gonna spoil it. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear this, skip ahead, but I was right. Like, it turns out that they've been together all along, or they were together before, and he erased her memory, blah, 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 blah. She gets her memories back, finds out she was with him, but I can't, like, with what is happening, I guess you could argue, like, for the good of the wizarding world, like, maybe Hermione basically being a sex slave to him, and he's having to, like, I don't know. All these things coming out of my mouth, R-A-P-E, sex slave, like these things, like I just can't, that it's not for me. I'm not a dark romance reader, and I felt like I needed my brain scooped out with a melon baller after reading the other non-con scene. It's too much for me. I'm not God's strongest soldier. He needs to keep his strongest battles for his strongest soldiers. Well, the hardest battle, me and Manacled, I mean, let's do a little pop. Like, Manacled got me. I'm out for the count, okay? And originally, like, that was the whole plan for this video, was I was going to do, like, I'm reading this so you don't have to. Well, it turns out I actually cannot read it. So if you want to read it, you're going to have to. Turns out I was way too... I gave myself too much credit. No way I could read that. So I have actually had my first DNF of 2024, which is Manacled. I then told my husband I needed a lobotomy or to be taken to Barnes & Noble, and he wheeled me on a stretcher to Barnes & Noble via an ambulance and then dumped me in the romance section. And the only thing that got me out of my catatonic state was I saw this. I have not read this yet, and I've been saving it for a rainy day, kind of, because when it came out, for some reason I didn't run immediately to go get it. Like I did with Bride and every other Ali Hazelwood release. I don't know why I'm like scared that this is not gonna be good, but I think in order to heal my brain and so I don't get into slump territory, because that was just too much for me, I need to like be very cautious about what I'm reading. And originally I was just gonna toss all of my footage of reading Manacled, and then I was like, you know what? No. You know what? No.
Frankenstein had a monster. This video is my Frankenstein's monster. It started out as a Manacled. I'll read so you don't have to. Then it turned into me DNFing Manacled. Then I was thinking about turning it into a reading vlog. I did film reading vlog clips that I'm going to include somewhere else on my channel, but I'm not going to have them here because this video is already 31 minutes long. Thank God I didn't end up tossing all my Manacled clips, because I feel like this might be helpful to somebody who's considering reading it. It is also pretty funny. And it gives you a very real depiction of exactly how I feel about the book. So I hope this was good for somebody. This is actually going to be my outro. This is where the video is ending. We have failed the challenge. We lost. Turns out Manacled won, not me. But I hope you guys subscribe, like, comment if you liked Manacled. I'm really sorry again. I don't want to like piss anybody off, but also I just got to be honest about how I feel about what I read. So that's what I'm doing. But subscribe, like, comment, talk to me. Let's be buddies. I will see you guys in the next video.
Shawty, you got me in love. 20/20 vision, I can see it from above. No way, this is lust, baby, this is trust. This is us, I can see you falling, I could be your crutch. You my crush, never take